So you're this guy, stuck in the permanent brig, with no tools, no telecrystals, no uplink, and no plan. This is a general guide of tips and tricks to be able to break out of pretty much any perma prison in all of Space Station 14 without any preset tools. Of course, you could always leave a spacesuit in space before you get arrested, have an uplink on you, have a hidden storage, leave something in perma before you actually get the perma, etc. This is for the people who never planned on getting into perma and have had everything taken from them. Tarot cap spores are seeds that will basically let you grow wood, and we're going to use this to make baseball bats and barricades for the doors. The other three plants that are very useful for most breakouts, ones that include space especially, or if you intend to do any form of fighting, you're going to want alloy seeds, poppy seeds, and ambrosia seeds. Yes, Cog Station only has 3 hydroponics trays. Bear with me, I'm spawning in a 4th one. You really only need 1 power cap to break out of this perma on normal conditions, but I'm going to grow all 4 for demonstration purposes. While we wait for that to grow, we need to procure a piece of glass or a shiv. Some stations will actually have a shiv ready for you in either like the bathroom or a back room, whatever, but most stations don't have preset shivs. That's okay though. Every station has a way for you to get a tool like a hoe or something. You just hit a light bulb once. It's pretty normal for prisoners to break their lights, but I wouldn't do it if somebody's looking at you. You don't want more attention than you need. Then you just simply take the light bulb and you throw it at the ground twice, and you'll get a glass shard. And there's your shiv. You just keep that in your pocket or hide it in a locker or something. Security may confiscate this if they come in and check, but realistically, especially on LRP servers, no one's coming to really check on you. Even in COG, which has public line of sight here, you're kind of connected to security. The warden's office is right there, but you could break out of this one so fast that it doesn't really matter. While you have the glass shard and you wait for your plants to grow, you could take all the extra clothes, go into the dark room you just created, and you could cut up these clothes for cloth. Cloth is really useful for making gauze. You can handcraft gauze if you intend on doing some fighting. However, this doesn't heal blunt, so it actually doesn't really help against space. Another thing that this is used for is stopping bleeding. If you get hit or something and you need meds, you can use cloth or gauze to stop it. However, one of the main purposes we're here for is for curtains. If you just start placing up curtains randomly, you're probably going to get yourself inspected. Depending on how much coverage you want for what you're doing, you don't need a whole lot of curtains. But for example, we're going to be breaking out right here, so it's oftentimes a good idea to obscure the way you're going in or out. Obviously, you probably want 1 or 2 more curtains. You could do it like this. I would recommend you just leave them in the construction ghost before you actually start. And the second you start your escape, just build them all, close them, and just get going. I know we're still waiting for the wood to grow, but another thing you can actually do is you can combine curtains and wood together. If you press G to open the craft menu, which is the same way you do the curtains, you could craft wood barricades with 4 pieces of wood, which you build these pretty much instantly. And I would again have the construction ghost ready, and you could just line up like this area with wood planks. And if you left clicked a wooden barricade again, you'll actually make a wood wall, which completely obscures vision. But this is obviously even more dangerous than a curtain, and it does slow people down. Funnily enough, Cog Station just has these lockers available, and sometimes they can spawn a crowbar. There's even a firefighting locker on Cog. This is not normal. Cog is special in this case, so there's a crowbar, but I'm just using this to demonstrate. This is how much time you buy per wall they have to deconstruct. They have to first do this long do after to deconstruct 1 wood wall, and then they have to do it again on the barricade. That's a lot of time you buy, and imagine if you filled this whole thing in. Like 5 walls here, they would have to take a lot of time to get to you directly. Aloe vera is really nice for 2 reasons. 1, you can just straight up eat it because inside of it contains dermaline and alloy, which will heal any form of heat damage. You take the alloy to a microwave, which all permas have a microwave, and you just cooked it for 10 seconds, and you're going to produce a full stack of ointment. Ointment heals burns, shocks, you name it. Great for if you're getting shot by a laser, disabler, or if you're hitting an electrified grill. So if you could take all 3 of your alloy, stuff it in a microwave for 30 seconds, you could get a decent bit of healing. However, storage is not really all that easy to have while you're stuck in perma, so you're really not going to want to make a whole lot. You could keep this in your pocket for healing, or if you somehow manage to get something like a toolbox, like out of Cog, or like this like medical case, you could carry it in your hand for more storage. But that's obviously not going to be practical. You're not always going to have storage options, so you don't need to mass produce a whole lot of this. Next, we have poppies. Poppies don't have any like microwave use. However, inside a poppy, which you could actually make these better, contains bicardine. Bicardine is used to heal brute damage, which is great if you go into space. You can kind of just, right before you break the window, if you're going into space, you could kind of just pre-eat like all 3 of these and you'll have no real issue. Finally, we have ambrosia of the 3 medicinals. The ambrosia has a bunch of things we like. It has bicardine, chelatine, so it heals the 2 damages you're probably likely to face, like cold from space or shock from a grill, brute damage from space if you don't have a spacesuit. But the thing that's also really useful here is desoxyephedrine, which is meth, and this will speed you up significantly. If you end up getting stunned by an officer, you'll get back up immediately. They'll probably just shoot you, though, at that point. However, this can help you against stuns against grills, which I will showcase later. This is not necessary in this perma brig. Now that the tower caps are done, you are going to need to use your piece of glass to harvest them, and then you can use your piece of glass to actually make wood on them. You get 2 pieces of wood per log, so you get 10 wood total from a normal tower cap log. That's enough to make a single bat, and you can at least make 1 wooden barricade. You probably want to grow a little bit more wood than this and just kind of keep it hidden. You don't need to bust out instantaneously. Unless they just randomly come in and confiscate certain things, you're probably better off being more prepared than less prepared if you want to actually have a chance of surviving. Anyways, we're just going to get enough wood. Specifically for a bat, you need 5 wood and you need a knife. So you can start crafting the bat like so. There's a small do after. Then you'll get an incomplete bat. Then you must use a knife on it, and a piece of glass does not count. So we actually need to cut up another piece of a jumpsuit like before. You're pretty much always going to have spare cloth or the ability to get more cloth, so this is really not an issue. You can just cut your own jumpsuit if you really have to for some reason. And then you just take the piece of cloth and you click on the glass shard, and you'll get an actual shiv, and then you just left click the incomplete bat with the shiv. Once you make a bat, though, it is time to act. You can actually just put this on your back, so you have the storage directly to keep your weapon on you. But once you make the bat, you either need to hide it until you're ready to start, but I would do the bat dead last because it's the #1 indicator you're trying to either kill an officer or break out. Now that we're ready to go, I would recommend you just eat all the ambrosia, and if you press Z, it will put it on your head, so you could actually keep an extra piece of ambrosia on you. But I would recommend eating all of your ambrosia leaves right before you're ready to go because it takes a little bit to digest, and it's time to get going. Jump on your tables, close your curtains, and COG is really easy to break out of. It is literally just 2 reinforced windows, so by the time they actually hear you, they have very little time to react. I'm already tweaking out on the meth. Make sure you have your shoes on so you don't step on the glass, and I still have my movement speed buff just breaking through those windows. And yes, COG is hilariously badly defended for perma. You can pretty much clear the entire station while high on meth. Obviously, the meth is going to give you away, but you can use this as an opportunity to get as far away from security as possible, try to change out your clothes, hide your identity, you name it. And if you kept an extra piece on your head, you can eat that too. By the way, baseball bats actually do good damage to doors, airlocks. So I hit the door once. I actually did 18.5 damage, and they destroyed a total of 500 damage. So you can spend a lot of time just hitting a door. It takes about, I think it's like 27 or 28 hits or something to actually break an airlock. So that's a lot of noise. So going through multiple airlocks is usually something you want to avoid if you can. Even going into space is usually preferable. This introduces a new element that is seen on some permas. If a microwave is ever next to windows, you can use this to get out even faster. We're going to break this table. We just need to hit it like once or twice with the bat. You can actually break this beforehand, and perma prisoners breaking stuff is not really all that uncommon. So from here, now they have a piece of steel. We're going to stick the steel in the microwave, and you're going to want to be prepared for this because you could easily get caught at this point, and your attempt might be over, but you want to be fast. Just stick the steel in the microwave and put the timer on max. It will start sparking and will explode randomly. That explosion will actually take out the reinforced windows nearby. However, it will not break the grills. So you could try to run this right before a power event starts and hope that the grills go down. If you have alloy, you could try to just tank the damage. This is a medium voltage wire, so thankfully it's not high voltage. You will take damage, but it's not a whole lot. The amount of damage the grill takes is enough to the point where you could just hit the grill one time with a baseball bat and you're good to go. By the way, you could just walk right over microwaves, so don't be afraid of that. But another option you have is you can actually take a piece of glass and just keep throwing the glass at the grill until it breaks. But this is much slower than just hitting it with the bat. but then you don't have to worry about getting shocked at all, and then you could just start hitting this window. And this is something you can do on a few stations in order to get out quicker, but it's really only a few bat hits, a microwave explosion to get going. And here's a demonstration of why it might be worth just trying to throw the glass at it, because if you do hit it, yeah, you'll break it quicker, but you get stunned for quite a long time, and this actually does a somewhat decent amount of damage to you. And especially if you're doing a spacefaring escape, you don't want to take that much damage. I mean, you could just heal yourself with the alloy. It's only 20 damage if you can explode with the microwave. However, though, you can also just eat the ambrosia before hitting the grill. Once you start shaking, you're free to hit the grill. You're still going to get shocked, but you'll recover out of it significantly faster. I would only do this if you're absolutely desperate to get through the grill as fast as possible. The meth doesn't last all that long. I already got the full stun timer on the third one. So on a full health grill, I feel like that just isn't as viable. But on the low health grill from the microwave, that is definitely an option. There are other tips I could definitely recommend doing. For example, I recommend that you grow bananas or use water to your advantage. If you eat a banana, you could just leave the peel like so, and people will slip on it. This is great if you're actually trying to fight the officers. Something you can combo this with really well is they're going to have to come check on you at some point. However, good security officers will probably just walk in and they won't slip on something like this, but inexperienced security officers will just run straight through the curtains and slip. And if you could at that point try to start attacking them when they're on the ground, hope they drop their stun baton, you name it. I said I wasn't going to include this in the guide, but if you ever emag a sustenance vendor, you can get oxygen tanks and breath masks and sometimes even knives out of them. None of this is guaranteed, funnily enough. The blood red brew can also help you speed up their grills. But if you already had an emag in here, you could just emag your way into maintenance. You wouldn't really need the oxygen tank on most stations, for example. Like I could just emag into maintenance. But this is Amber Station, and the creator said they had a pre-planned like weakness. But I'll be entirely honest, I'll a ghost here. I don't know what that weakness is. You are not directly connected to security, but it's easy to see you. You are surrounded by electric grills on most sides or have electric grills directly to space. Even if you used a microwave tactic and blow open this grill, you have to then break through 2 grills. And where do you go from there? You have an airlock that is really durable. I mean, you could survive this. Like, you could go up here and try to break this airlock and hope that there's still a hard suit in here. You'd have to break that as well. On servers that have higher spacing damage, I think the only realistic way you'd have of actually surviving this is if you pre-planted a spacesuit or went through the doors. Of course, you could also wait for the power net and just pry the doors here by hand or just break them if they're bolted. But generally, there's not really any great routes, and if there are, I just don't see them personally. I'm sorry to the creator. I know we talk sometimes, but I don't know what this pre-planned fatal flaw is necessarily. Everything involves going into space or just directly into maintenance, which I suppose that does make it weaker for sure. But that's still 27 hits or whatever for this door, and then another 27 because these are locked. If security doesn't notice you doing something after 50 plus hits, that's probably a different problem. Also, Amber is a station that actually has like every single window other than like a select few that have all the windows on the outer edges shocked. So unless there's an APC event that takes those down, or again, you have a power net, it's not, again, easy to really melee your way through. Meleeing through a shuttle wall, for example, is just, you do like absolutely no damage to this, because I thought maybe this was the idea, but the window is going to take way too many hits to break, and the wall also is just, it's more durable than a reinforced wall, so I just don't see that as the option either. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe people who actually get permit often know the easy way out of something like Amber. But Amber is probably one of the more secure permas in terms of like a quick getaway. Planned is another really, really easy one to break through. It's a microwave next to an internal window, so you don't have to worry about space or anything. You just break the table, stick the steel in. You hardly even need to prep for this one. This is a high voltage wire, so I would absolutely not mess with it. Look for your reinforced glass shard and just start chucking the glass at it. You can use multiple pieces of glass to do this faster. If you click well, you could really get through this in a matter of seconds, and I'm already free. You jump the table. You don't even have to take the time to stop here. You just keep going, and you're already in a public hall with basically freedom to go anywhere, hide in a locker, hide in a dumpster, flush yourself, try to get an ID card, whatever the case may be. This is Oasis and probably the most infamous perma due to its difficulty to escape and its uniqueness. Perma spawns in a random direction and random distance from the station, and it is a massive like mining puzzle colony. It's normally pretty much pitch black, and the items spawn randomly. However, this pickaxe is always here, so if you want to, I would still recommend you make a baseball bat. You can mine upwards from this post light to get the pickaxe to make getting things easier. As far as I'm aware, none of the tools are actually guaranteed, at least out of the ones I know, so you pretty much have to just mine around until you end up getting tools you need. So there's guns you can actually end up finding here, like PKAs, stacks of materials to either build your way back to the station, there's RNG loot, and there is potential for EVA suits. However, I think it is possible for EVA suits not to spawn, and if EVA suits don't spawn out here and you can't find any, you're basically screwed. I will quickly mention in this upper arm here, there is a mass scanner, so you can at least figure out what direction you have to go. And yeah, there are real sunglasses here too. So you can find guns, insulated gloves and stuff. So if you are able to break out of here and make your way back to the station, you might be armed and ready to go for round 2. But Oasis is a very, very interesting, unique one for sure. And I'll just do one last coverage of a station that has unique properties. When you open these airlock doors, you'll actually bolt the door. So if you drag your locker in the way, you can basically restrict security officers from even being able to come in and stop you from making whatever you're making, or breaking the windows. They could get the AI's help to probably unbolt the doors and stuff, but that requires a lot of coordination and effort, especially when you'll just be gone in a few seconds. And just to give an example of an escape, I'm preparing myself some poppies. I have alloy cream in my pocket, so this is really as much as you could take with you. I have as much bicaridine as I can really have, just to give an example of what a space escape might look like, or your best odds. It is space station specific, of course, the easiest ways out. Marathon, funnily enough, or interestingly enough, these grills aren't electric, so getting out's really easy. But before you break the windows, I would recommend drinking 15 units of bicaridine. If you at least know your ratios, or if you have the ability to use a beaker, it makes your life a lot easier in this situation. For example, you can eat or consume 15 units of bicaridine without ODing. So you want to try to have as much healing in your system as possible before you start running. Also, on stations that have cigarette machines in Perma, I would always recommend checking the soaked smokes. The soaked smokes can have specific cigarettes inside that actually have beneficial extracts inside of them. You can remember the names of which ones are which, but it's random. So for example, most of them are going to be roleplay chemicals, but I actually got Wake Up Call in this one. And Wake Up Call, if you edit the solution, has Lacoxide, which is not helpful to me because you don't want to be stunned. But sometimes you can get healing cigarettes. I wouldn't bank on that though. I'm just going to drink my 15 units of bicaridine, and we are going to break the window. By the time I break the window, we're going to be good to go. Sometimes there is a bug where you can hit the grill through the window, but I'm not using this as a recommendation because that's been in the game forever to be able to break the grill through the window. So you can sometimes just accidentally break the grill without needing to worry about it being shocked or not. So like in this case, it wouldn't have mattered if it was shocked because I broke the grill through the window. But again, I think that's a bug, and I'm obviously not encouraging people to use that. But on this station, you don't have a whole lot of options of actually getting back in. So like, I just kind of, I've seen people do this. They come for this window, which also doesn't feature an electric grill, because any other route you go, you're going to be stuck hitting an airlock or a wall or something. And this route only requires a few hits to actually get back in the station. And you can close the door behind you, and now you're safe from spacing. You're out of Perma, and you can use your alloy cream on yourself to heal yourself and get your, well, breath back so you're not dying. Most space escapes end up looking like this. You can re-drink some bicaridine. Most of the damage you have at this point is asphyxiation, so you just use some alloy, drink the bicaridine, and probably keep moving. Could do this in a locker, but at this point now I'm stuck in maintenance. So just because you get out of Perma doesn't mean you're going to get far, but at least it gives security something to do. It's fun, and it's entertaining for yourself to try to escape anyway. I could have made this video hours long. Escaping Perma is really entertaining. There's a lot of ways of doing it. Some are really hard to escape, as you've seen. Some are easy. Thank you for watching.